All right, I would entertain a motion to open.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We have a quorum. We have one member of the public. So, yes, you're the public there, buddy. Do you wish to address the board today?
Not today.
All right, then we don't have to go into that whole rigmarole. Since we have the full attendance, I'm not going to require a roll call vote for a quorum. But we do have a new member. So, would you like to introduce yourself, or do you want me to do it?
Janine Cunningham from Scotland Road. So I have served on the board before, but I'm back.
Thank you for joining
Nice
us
to have
again.
you.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
Why don't we just go around and everyone state their name in case you don't know everyone.
Chris Howe, Jerry DeMeo.
Joyce Majerus.
Damon Jesperson.
John Ferrara.
Chuck Bibb.
Susan Grillo.
Cindy Curry.
So, welcome and thank you for joining us. Has everyone had a chance to read over the notes from our last meeting? I would entertain a motion to approve the notes as written.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. The next thing on the list is a discussion regarding petitioning the select board to include a COA flyer in the tax bill. This came from a discussion that I had with Cynthia about how to reach people. I know it had been a concern for John, and I thought one of the most economical ways to get to every member of our town is to use the tax bill. I've done that a number of times when I was helping John with the stormwater information that we had figured out. And so wanted to discuss it with the rest of the board, whether or not they felt it was appropriate. And if we do it, do we want to do a half-page thing, a full-page thing? It's on the table. I don't know what people's thoughts or feelings are, and so would like to hear from everyone else.
May I?
Please.
Okay, as long as it's not a long-winded note, I mean, you don't want to two-hand lug the thing in, you know, just a quick little blurb. My suggestion would be get a website set up, and on the thing, please go to this website to see our ideas. And it's just a little tiny piece of paper, doesn't take up a lot of room. Just a thought.
Yeah, I tend to agree that it should be no more than half a page and linking to the other things that we have going, because I think the Facebook page is up and running, if not super active. The newsletters online and the COA has its own website. So, or
You and I have run into this issue before. Remember, we had one that was overpacked.
Are there any other thoughts,
I
concerns?
think
Go ahead.
it's a great idea, and any extra attention or advertisement we can get, why not?
Jerry?
And included in the tax bill.
Mm-hmm.
Since we just got our tax bill, it'll be the next quarter, but that goes to Reading, I believe. So who would be stuffing these envelopes?
I'm not exactly sure how it works, because I was not stuffing the envelopes before. I just know that it occurred. You know, people would petition the board when I was on the select board to include it. So I don't know if it is just in the printing and it comes as part of the printing, or if it's not even an option, if they have changed how it's done, and so we may not be able to do it at all. It was just a thought on how to reach our residents sort of more broadly without,
Oh, it's a great idea.
you know, paying for a lot of postage and having to drag ourselves in here and stuff it all ourselves. So
When it says in lieu of mailing a newsletter, I still think the newsletter has to go out because it has the calendar.
So that would go out to our regular mailing list, but instead of mailing a newsletter to every household in the entire
Oh,
town,
okay.
we would stick with our regular
Yes.
mailing list for our newsletter, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
So here's my ideas. I think we should keep it to like a one page. It shouldn't be the newsletter, but if the goal is to try to get subscriptions to the newsletter, both via email and or do a one pager. And again, here's a, do you know, this is what we do, kind of like a quick summary, and then opt either a return if you want it physical or go online. We can set up a quick Google form.
Okay.
And just capture the info in the Google form, and there you go. But no more than a one pager. Keep it simple, because you don't want also the postage rate to go up, given the weight change. I can help with the Google form if you need that, and
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, a mission statement, restated, and an invitation to please join the website, and examine what we do and how we do it.
and why it matters to you.
Yeah, old, middle-aged, and young. Every family in the township.
All right, well, it sounds like most people support the idea. So I'm gonna try and get together with Tracy. I can make sure it's still an option.
Okay.
And then, if you don't mind working on putting it together, hopefully we could have a draft for the next meeting and then bring it to the selectmen, provided we all approve it.
Yep.
Okay, ready for motion?
I don't even think we need a motion for that. We'll just, if Chris is willing to work on it,
Better safe than sorry?
okay, we'll make a motion.
All right, motion to allow the chair to look into putting a flyer into the next tax bill.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. The chairperson's report. Well, the first thing I want to say is thank you guys for entrusting me with this job. I hope that I serve everyone well. Met with Cynthia a couple times now to start doing the mechanics of the job and discussing some of the ideas and ways that we can try to improve things. If you guys ever need me, I'm always available. One of the things I would like for us to do as a board is start attending our own events, because we represent the town for the Council on Aging, and if we don't show up to events, it almost seems disingenuous to me. So I try to get my folks to go to game night and go with them on occasion. I've been dragging my mom to pickleball, kicking and screaming.
She came.
She came, she was there, we hung out there together. But I think if you can show up and if you can drag someone else, it is very useful. So I think for a homework assignment, I'd like everyone to look at our agenda of items and choose at least one that they think they could enjoy attending, and see if we can spread ourselves around to make sure that we ourselves are participating in our events. And for this, that's all I have for this particular time. But again, thank you guys for entrusting me with this job. I hope I do a good job for you.
Well, thanks for taking the time to do it, because it does incorporate a lot of time.
Very welcome. And now we move on to our director's report.
Okay, so the upcoming programs that we have, Kathy and I are working on the August-September newsletter. Should be going to the printer probably the beginning of next week, if not the end of this week. Upcoming events we have are the Traveling Chef is Monday, August 7th, and then Tuesday, September 5th. Those are at noontime. For those of you who are new, the Traveling Chef, we used to do a grab-and-go meal. During COVID, the Traveling Chef is held in person. So we do that once a month. We are going to do a veterans brunch at PETA Hall. We have outgrown our space downstairs in terms of the veterans events that we do. The last event, I believe we had almost 60 people. It gets a little bit crowded. I had to come up here and borrow chairs because I didn't have enough chairs. But it will be a little bit better, a little bit more spread out, easier to serve folks over at Peter Hall. That building works really well for us.
When is that?
So that is on Tuesday, August 8th. That will be a brunch, so probably I believe we're doing 10:30 in the morning. We're doing another event at Peter Hall in August. This one is a 50s themed barbecue. So hot dogs, hamburgers, things like that for lunch. And we're going to have a musician. It was going to be a full band, but the full band is not available. So just the lead guy from the Gemstones, he does all 50s themed music. So that's going to be fun. So that will be on Tuesday, August 22nd at 12 p.m. over at Peter Hall. For August, our game night, we normally do dinner for game night, but for August, we're just going to do desserts, we decided. So we're going to get all kinds of different desserts, so it won't be dinner. That's August 29th. And then in September 12th, we'll go back to having dinner with game night. So those are starting at 4:30. Also in September, we have coordinated with the Clutter Queen of Greater Boston. Her name is Ria Becker. She's going to do a presentation on Swedish death cleaning. So it's for people who, later in life, learning to declutter so that your family doesn't have to do that for you. It also kind of leads to a more simplistic lifestyle, that you're surrounded by things that you want and need instead of all this excess stuff in your life, right? So she's going to kind of talk about how to go about it. It can be very overwhelming if you have I know myself, you have a lifetime of things in your house,
Yes.
and learning how to work through that. So she's going to be coming on Tuesday, September 19th. We will serve a light dinner at 4:30. Her presentation will be at 5:30, I believe. The COA is closed on Monday, September 4th. That's for Labor Day. The newsletter, like I said, for August, September will be going to the printer very soon. We're still in need of NEAT drivers. If anyone knows of anyone who is interested in volunteering to be a NEAT driver, please let us know. Have them call us. We'll connect them to the NEAT program. And we'll be posting the ad for the outreach coordinator position very shortly. That's it.
Excellent. That brings us to new business. I don't know if anyone has anything they'd like to bring before the board.
Yeah, the tentative date for the Byfield Car Show is September 8th. That is a Friday night, and it's usually 4 till dusk. I'm trepidatious to say this, but we're going to attempt to shut the center of the town down again and move the car show back to the center. We do not have the selectmen's approval yet, so
So there's a lot.
it is, yes, we're aiming in that direction. So, all welcome, it's usually a good time.
Where would it be if you
we've
can't
been-
shut down the town?
From Lunch Street to the post office, and just fill that whole area full of cars.
But if you can't get permission to do that, where would it be?
Then we will not have the show.
Oh,
Yeah.
would they do it in the parking lot here?
I would have to go through Brendan and figure out if he would allow it, what he would have to have for insurance. This is the big issue with all the car shows, is the insurance. We had it at the old snuff mill, and the insurance was so great, Tony doesn't want to do it again. So now we're back to the center of town again. And we have to go through the insurance regulations and/or waivers pending approval.
Yeah.
So,
Any prayer could be done at the airport?
same answer. You gotta go through Spina, because they are the majority of the owner on it.
Yeah.
I only did one event as a selectman with them.
The moving
And
wall
it
was
years
stunning.
ago, and they were very receptive. They're positive people. Yeah, they're more than willing to do it.
The moving
So-
wall was
But it is a good idea.
successful for the very reason of
Yes.
location.
Right.
And that was
Yeah, good
September
thought.
21.
So, next selectman meeting we'll know.
There we go.
So,
Message carried.
and the other thing about the clutter, I'm going through that right now. I'm living in the family house. Family bought it in the fall of '59, there's been 3 families go through it. Talk about clutter, good night. One of the suggestions that was given to me is put a piece of tape on it, put a date on it. If it doesn't move in 3 years, out. And I thought that was a pretty good idea.
I'd shorten the time frame, but I tell my husband, you got 6 months, that's it.
What is the name of the declutter specialist again?
The Clutter Queen,
Clutter Queen?
yep.
Yep.
She has a website, you can look at it.
Clutter
The Clutter Queen.
queen, okay.
Declutter.
Yes, I know some people who could really use her help and they're the most unlikely to show up.
Stuff multiplies.
It does.
Multiple generations.
That's right.
For sure. Alrighty, is there anything else on anyone's mind?
One of the thoughts long shared is an ad hoc committee within the board to begin to look to a permanent location. I had spent some time with Cindy and with Bob Connors and Eric Svein and walked the property. I've been pressing with written articles and phone calls and sit-downs with some of the planning board that would love to see this organization with a permanent home on Lunt Street as an appendage to the library. So many of the common spaces available are there, and and Cindy obviously would be the hard speak to what they precisely need in their location. But my sense is we could get away with half the square footage with the complement of being in proximity to the library, the art center, the post office, safe parking, safe entry. Certainly a lot safer than the thoroughfare complexity that is the Upper Green. And all of the thoroughfares that come in there to meet Route 1A, which is high speed by its nature. And the ad hoc committee would work with the various committees and select board to try and come down with a location. I started with the Pink House with Jeff years ago, and obviously that fell through. Suggested we purchase the Horton home and begin to think of that as a location, and all of these have just sort of slid by the wayside. Lunt Street's still there. 0.5 would be the address. In the 4,500 to 5,000 square feet, and I'm speaking less than clinically, I'm just talking as a non-clinical speak, would be in that wonderful space right behind the library, which sort of sets up to right field, the ball field. And the walking trails in there for cross-country skiing, walking, and even wheel and crutch facility capability. And you've got the potential for a gazebo and feet up on a bench and watch a ball game. It's a great location.
I
The
think
Kent Street Fields?
I'm talking about talking about Lunt Street, the field behind the library.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah, Kent
actually,
Street.
the access is Kent Street.
Kent Street, exactly.
I am very versed in that whole property. I was chairman of the land sales committee, and that was up. And I was actually deposed on the lights on the ball field because of an addendum on that property. So gladly sit down and talk with you at any time on that. I'm well versed in it.
Well, I've got a correspondence with Eric Svein where I drew out a non-clinical rendition, and he brought an architect's rendition to it.
Yes.
And it was a stunning, incapable area and safe, and as I said, plenty of walkabout.
I
So-
want to stop you before you go too much further there,
Yeah.
because we can get in trouble for it not being on the agenda,
Yeah.
and if we discuss it too far.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Good point.
we can put it on next meeting's agenda
I think it's a
for
very good idea.
discussion of
also.
the ad hoc and possible locations, because that was also a location that I looked at years ago.
Okay.
Can I add one more thing to the agenda then, to take a look?
Please.
And that is the possibility of regionalization. If you remember, I had brought that up months ago.
Yes, you did.
What do we do? And the third one, of course, state what is the actual cost of us staying where we are. So I'm very interested in that, as we all should be.
But it's-
I mean, this time will go so fast.
I personally don't think downstairs is large enough, and
Yeah.
like we keep reaching out to get a hall.
Yeah,
And that would sort of eliminate that if we had a larger meeting room and a bigger kitchen.
yes.
So I feel we definitely need a new building that will suit our needs.
Okay,
And
Cool.
I think the Lunt Street area is a good idea, because we don't have to pay for the land. And that will bring the
Yep.
cost of creating a new location down.
okay.
I've heard a lot of talk about the Council on Aging here, there, and on the internet. And I'd just like to say, when you do this, please talk to the people who actually live there. And that's you, Kathy, and whoever your outreach coordinator is, and get their info, because a lot of people, I'm hearing about it, and they will say, have you talked to them? Well, no. So we need their ideas. Because it's like, when a new school is being built, you want to talk to the people who actually work there. Or the police station, you want to talk to the police people that actually should be there. Okay.
Good idea.
Any other items people would like to see discussed at our next meeting? Then let's set the date and time for that next meeting.
August 21st is the third Monday.
21st, you said? Okay.
So I actually am out of town that day,
Okay.
which is not a problem if you would want to run a meeting, but if you don't want to, then.
Well, it's not that I don't want to. I think it's an important meeting because of what we're putting on the agenda.
Yeah.
So I think we should move it either a week sooner or a week later.
Good
Is
point.
the 28th viable for everyone?
28th, I'm likely to be
I'm like.
Telegraph Hill in California.
Ah,
My daughter is expecting on the 27th.
Oh,
congratulations.
Yeah.
How about the 14th?
14th is good.
All right, so I'd accept a motion to have our next meeting at 9 a.m. on the 14th of August.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Say the date again, please.
August 14th at 9.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just do one more thing before we close?
Absolutely.
So I just need, several of you have already signed this, but this is a form to just have Damon be the person to sign our weekly timesheets and bill warrants that I have to submit to the town. So this just gives approval for him to do so. So if you could sign that, Chuck, you've already signed it.
Do you have a second person on that in case he's not available?
Oh, our alternate person, do you want to be as the
Yeah, we
vice
have to
chair?
have a backup.
So I will put down Joyce as the vice chair, will be our backup person.
Thank you.
I think you already signed that, Chuck. You might have been first.
Oh, I did.
Can I borrow your pen?
Sure.
I believe the three of you have already signed it.
You're right.
Okay.
All right. That done, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.